Hi, I'm Miles. I'm with Sauer. I'm here at Mod Guns once again. Just an informative video about this prototype armor's puck that Mod Guns is developing under the ModDev program. This one specifically for the 320. We're just going to go over some of the features. There's going to be some changes to this. We'll discuss that too. But first of all, I'm going to take an unknown platform. I'm going to go ahead and lock to the rear, clear the weapon, the mag's out. The first thing on here that's neat is the takedown. A lot of people have a hard time turning this due to the stiffness or tolerance fit. So the first cool thing on this is the takedown lever point. And then notice this one was cut out for the align takedown lever, so it has the notch cut all the way through. I've got it turned down. I'm ready to take the slide off. I'm gonna go ahead and take the slide off. If I don't want to take this takedown lever out by hand, I can always come from the top and use one of the pins to push it out. I'm gonna take this out. I have the pin out. Now I'm going to take my armor's puck that has this elongated horseshoe section. I'm going to slide that over all the way till it stops, and I can use that to pop the fire control unit out. Fire control unit, depending on the material or the aftermarket grip module this in, can be really stiff in there. So this makes it easier. Instead of using your thumb to pop the trigger out, I can slide that over the guide rails and just pop it right out. So I have the fire control unit out. Before we go on to the slide, we're going to talk real quick about what we're going to be doing on this armor's puck in development. The primary reason what we're going to do is how we're going to reverse this so that when you're reassembling the trigger bar and the trigger spring and everything, you're going to have a tray to set this down in. It might be configured to work from both sides, but we'll see how that plays out in the future. The next thing on this is if for some reason you take any parts off pins or springs, there is a magnetic cup down in here that will hold those in place. Mainly if you're in a raw environment, austere condition where you don't have an armor tray or anything like that, you have the ability to at least throw a few of the parts in there to hold them in place. So next we're going to go on to the slide. I'm going to go ahead and pop my spring out, and I'm going to take my barrel out. Now, a couple things on here is if I needed to work with this vertical, for some reason, I have a tray that will hold for the slide using the hole for the recoil guide rod spring to hold that in place. If I want to, if I have a tool, and I don't have my tool here, I could take a tool, push the pin and slide this out like this. Or you can use the armor's puck, which we developed for the striker mechanism on the back there's the plate. I can press down. It's form fitted. I can reach down with my hand and I can start it to slide it out. And I don't know if I did that enough, but we're going to go ahead and press down. There we go. I started that out. Now I can take the puck if I want to. I can turn around, drop it in there, and then I can put my hand over that, capture this, pull the back plate off the striker mechanism. Now I have access to the extractor pin and spring, and then I also have access to the striker mechanism that I can take out of the slide. Now on this puck, for video's sake, we're going to show you that it does have a tray to set that down and to work on it. Now this is right here where we're going to stop and just put a disclaimer in here from SIG. Is that this is an extreme armor level component right here where we don't want the general public working on this. And normally you wouldn't even work on this. You would just throw this away if it breaks, and SIG sells the striker mechanism in a plug and play module system. You would shove the whole part, this would be an entire part that you would shove a brand new one right back in and go to town. But for some reason, if an armor that needs to do specific, let's just check and make sure there's no issues in there and needs to work on this, he has a spot where he can put that in and contain that. We're going to go back and reassemble. So if I need to drop this back on, I'm going to pick my striker mechanism back up. I'm going to drop it back in, drop that back in there. Now, one of the things we're going to do on this puck, if we had to, is we're going to also develop a spot that once you go to start this plate, you're going to have a spot where you can press down on this to get the striker mechanism depressed enough that you can slide the plate on easy. A lot of people use their finger or they use like a punch. That gets kind of awkward. We're going to design actual jig cutaway that will actually do that for you, stabilize it so you can start the plate on there. I've got my plate started. I can roll it back around, and then once again I take my back plate cutaway with the pin, and I'm going to apply it and press down and pop that right back into place. And now we're back up and running again on this part right here. I can go ahead and drop my barrel back in, and I can put my guide rod spring back in there, and I can press that down and get that started right in there like that. And we're back up and running on that. Once again, this is a prototype. We're going to be making some adjustments, but you can see here the convenience of this and some of the features that will allow you to do a lot of stuff in a stable platform. And it can be carried in a small armor's bag and a range bag or whatever like that if you need to do some quick range stuff out in the field. So appreciate your time, and go ahead and check out modguns.com for all these kind of armors parts or the parts themselves that you need to do.